Think about the last time you were in a bar or a club or some other dark place that had some kind of capacity. Why does it have a capacity? Now think about the door on the way out. What's above the door? Is it an exit sign? Why are things like exit signs ubiquitous? Well, it's because of the fire code. Why is there a fire code? Because of the Coconut Grove Fire of 1942. On November 28, 1942, a fire in a nightclub in Boston, Massachusetts killed almost 500 people. Here's what happened. The building was filled over capacity. A guy was making out with some woman and he decided to unscrew a light bulb to give them a little more privacy. One of the floor managers noticed that the light bulb was out. He asked a busboy to go ahead and screw it back in. The busboy was having trouble getting the bulb in the socket, so he lit a match so that he could see what he was doing. The building was festooned with paper decorations, and the way it was decorated would never be allowed by fire code these days. The flammability of the paper, not to mention the flammability of all of the hairspray in the room, meant that the entire building was on fire in less than 5 minutes. All of the exits except the main revolving door in the front had been barricaded to try and dissuade people from leaving without paying their tabs. And you can only get so many people through a single revolving door before there are too many people for anyone to get through. In order to get inside, firefighters had to dismantle the door. There were dead bodies piled around it. Fire officials later testified that over 300 lives may have been saved if the current fire codes had been enforced, and then they recommended changes. One of those changes was the lit exit sign that we know so well. Among the casualties were Hollywood movie star Buck Jones, who was taken to the hospital and died a few hours later. 5 people survived by closing themselves in a walk-in fridge. Way to think with your noodle, guys. The man who was charged with the negligence of allowing all these people to die and not observing the fire codes was named Barney Wilansky. He was convicted on 19 counts of manslaughter. 19 random victims were chosen among the dead. 19. Stephen King, anyone? He served 4 years of a 12 to 15-year sentence before he was pardoned by the governor. By that point, he was so sick with cancer that when he was released, he was quoted in the newspaper as saying he wished he had died in the fire. He died 9 weeks later. But believe it or not, good things have come out of this. The exit sign is just one of the many things that have been added to the fire code that are still enforced today. The fire led to advances in the treatment of burn and smoke inhalation victims. The Coconut Grove has never been replaced. It was actually illegal for a time in Boston to name anything the Coconut Grove, lest they remember the tragedy. But there's a plaque on the sidewalk outside of where the Coconut Grove nightclub was, and in it, it specifically notes all of the good things that have come out of the tragedy. And at the bottom, it says, "A phoenix out of the ashes." Tragedies like this are horrible, but it always seems to bring out the best in humanity. Now you know. If you're interested in knowing more, all the information that I learned was from Wikipedia. The link is in the info. Also, there's an excellent book that my mom recommended me by a man named Wally Lamb called The Hour I First Believed. And throughout the book, it flashes hundreds of years back and forth from the past to the present, and it discusses a number of historical events. This is one of those historical events, and that's how I knew about this. So, thanks, Mom.